Shalom and greetings in the name of Yahwah. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name, singular tense, none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Ladies of the United States and anyone else that's listening out of the country, this broadcast is dedicated to women. We've been listening for the last several weeks about real prayer, a real relationship, a real tight relationship. But is your relationship with Yahweh closer than your relationship with any human walking? You know, the word still remains that the aged women likewise. Let's look at the word here. Well, let's back up a little. Let's go to Titus 1 and 14. I want to get ahead of myself here. Let's lead up to Titus 2 and 3, 4, and 5. Titus 1 and 14 says, not giving heed to Jewish fables. You know, a lot of times in our reading, we think that a chapter, just because it ends, it starts a new thought, but not necessarily. You know, it's like one letter that follows through for the most part. So listen to this. We'll start in Titus 1 and 14. Look, ladies, we're running out of time. It's time to get serious. It's time to be sober-minded. It's time to pay attention to what's going on around you. Get your head out of the sand and search your spirit. Search your soul. Where do you stand in your walk with the Almighty? Are you really born again? Do you really have a close relationship that you want to obey all of Yahweh's word? Look, there's a lot of stuff coming down, and we better be ready. Okay, let's go back to the word. Titus 1 and 14 says, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Well, what is truth? Have you ever looked it up? This word truth means what is true in any matter under consideration. Of a truth in reality, in fact, what is true in things appertaining to God, Elohim, who is Yahweh, and the duties of men, moral and religious truth. It gets into the meaning of truth, gets into the true notions of Elohim, which are open to human reason without his supernatural intervention. The truth as taught in respecting Elohim, who is Yahweh, and the execution of his purposes. We know that the word says in one place that the whole duty of man is to what? Obey Yahweh and keep his commandments. But now it's either obey the new laws of the land and forget Yahweh's commandments. We better watch out. Reading on verse 15. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. All right, let's examine some of these words here. Unto the pure, what is pure? Somebody who is clean. Not clean the way you think. Not clean the way you think, but clean the way Yahweh thinks. Clean in the use of which is not forbidden. Ethically free from corrupt desire, free from sin and guilt, free from admixture of what is false, genuinely sincere, innocent. This is what pure is. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled. What is defiled? Polluted, contaminated, opposing. This is what is opposing to Yahweh's word. That are defiled and unbelieving, faithless. This is what unbelieving, faithless. Faith without trust in God. Who is God? Who is the real God? There are many gods, but the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, it was only Yahweh. He wasn't anybody else. Okay, so Them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. All right, the thought continues in verse 16. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. Okay, we live in Church Street, USA. We got churches on every corner and everybody's saved, right? Okay, this verse might pertain to them. They profess, who's the they? Whoever. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable, detestable. Now this broadcast is for women, all right? So what can possibly be abominable? Number one, women never wore pants until the turn of the century, in the late 1800s. The scripture says in one place not to bring an abomination into your house. So women that wear that which pertains to a man, those are pants, then you can consider that something disgusting in the sight of Yahweh. Disgusting, a disgusting thing in the sight of Yahweh. So what happened to the long dresses? Now everybody runs around naked. It's getting warm weather again. Where are your dresses? It's an abomination. Okay, listen to this. But in works, they deny him, being abominable and disobedient. Disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. Oh, well, we feed the poor. And that's good. That's a good thing. Well, we clothe the naked. That's good. That's a good thing. Well, we send donations and help to missionaries. That's a good thing. But it's not enough. Are you obedient one-on-one, weaker vessel, in what you wear in your heart, as pertaining to what Yahweh requires of you, within and without? All right, again, let's read verse 16. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. We're going into another chapter now. But these verses go together. This is the same letter. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. Sound, what is the meaning of sound? To be in good health, to be sound, to be well, within and without, of one who keeps the graces and is strong, who keeps free from any mixture of error. But speak thou the things which become of sound doctrine, sound instruction, sound teaching, sound precepts. Sound. Now listen to this. Proverbs 1:7 says, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So you women that want to be disobedient in looking like a man, wearing men's apparel, taking the posture of a man, you women that usurp authority over your husband, you women who are not keepers at home and leave your children with whatever or whoever, you're just asking for trouble. So the fear of Yahweh, there's an uppercase L-O-R-D, by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm reading from a King James Version, and everywhere I see uppercase L-O-R-D, uppercase G-O-D, and the errors of Jehovah and Jesus, yeah, you heard me right, errors of Jehovah and Jesus, I will properly put Yahweh's name back into his word where humans have removed it. So Proverbs 1:7 correctly reads, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So, weaker vessel, will you refuse wisdom and instruction from an aged old lady? Now look, whatever I teach you, I have to obey. I have to walk the walk and talk the talk. I have to keep everything under the blood, my attitude and everything, 24/7. Every thought. My husband teaches so many times, we are a thought away from sin. All right, back to Titus here. Are we going to refuse instruction? But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, true teachings. That the aged men, of course it talks about the aged men, we're going to skip that verse because I'm not teaching men, I'm teaching women. That the aged women, that gray hair usually denotes the aged woman. That the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. This word holiness means set apart. Set apart from what? This world's teachings. Not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, teachers of that which is good. Now you know in the last days they're going to call good evil and evil good. They're doing it now. They're allowing marriages that never should be. Never should be. Okay, here we go. Titus 2:4. That they may teach the young women, female gender, to be sober. What does it mean to be sober? To be in self-control, to be in control, to curb yourself, to be disciplined. That the aged women teach the younger women this. That the aged women teach the younger women to love their husbands and to love their children. You stick with your marriage. You obey your husband in everything unless he tells you to do something that's contrary to the word. Teach the young women to love their husbands, to love your children. Do you love your children so much that you want to leave them with strangers and you don't even know what the strangers are doing to them? Sometimes you don't even know. You think you can trust some of your family members and you don't know what they're doing to them. We're supposed to train up our children in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they'll not depart. So what are we teaching them? What are we supposed to be training them to do? We're training them to love the Word, to have their own relationship with Yahwah Almighty. Verse 5, the aged women, to teach the younger women to be discreet. What does this word discreet mean? Of a sound mind. You got a sound mind? Curbing one's desires and impulses, to be self-controlled. In other words, you acclimate yourself to your husband's desires. It's difficult to do in this year because women are being taught just the opposite. To be discreet, curbing your desires for your household's desires. Teach them to be chaste. This word chaste means excitingly reverence. Toward what? Toward your husband. To be reverent toward your husband. If you get the wrong tone of voice, it's time to apologize. To be pure from carnality. Now listen to this. Teach the younger women to be pure from carnality. Teach the young women to be modest. That's what this word chaste means. That means the aged women are to teach the younger women to be modest. To be modest in their apparel. My goodness, my husband teaches that you can go into a church, assembly, a synagogue, or whatever, and look at the women and see how they're dressed to see if any kind of holiness or truth is being taught by the way the women are. Oh, you're judging me. You're judging me. Well, do you not know a fruit tree by its fruit or by its bark? Listen to this. Somebody sent me this. This was really good. 4 guidelines for modest dress. This is good. If you have trouble getting into it or out of it, it is probably not modest. Number 2, if you have to be careful when you sit down or bend over, it is probably not modest. And I might add, if you sit down and you have to use a blanket over your legs to keep your nakedness from being shown, your dress or your skirt is probably not modest. Number 3, if people look at any part of your body before looking at your face, it is probably not modest. Oh, bravo, bravo. I don't know who wrote this, but I would like to hug your neck. If you could see your most private body parts or an outline of those parts under the fabric, it is probably not modest. So, for you people that think that the aged women aren't supposed to teach the younger women how to dress, Titus 2:5 teaches them that the aged women are to teach the younger women to be discreet and chaste. And this word chaste gets into be pure from carnality and teaches them to be modest, pure from every fault, immaculate. The next word here is keepers at home. Let the aged women teach the younger women to be keepers at home. Teach them to be good. Now, sometimes this might be, if you don't feel so good, this might be a tough one for many, because this word good means pleasant and agreeable. And I might have to check out on this one and get under the blood sometimes. I'm not always pleasant, and I'm not always agreeable if I don't feel well or if I'm trying to get ready for Shabbat. But Yahweh help me, I keep my attitude under the blood, and Abba sees to it that I get plenty of practice in governing my spirit. Obedient to their own husbands, not obedient to your favorite pastor or evangelist, but obedient to your own husband, male gender. That the word of Elohim be not blasphemed. Wow, that's a lot of things that the aged women teach the younger women. So where are you, weaker vessel of this new century that we've entered into? Where are you? Are you asking for the old paths wherein is the good way? You know, that's what Jeremiah said. 6:16. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your soul. Do you want rest for your soul? Are you going through stuff? It's probably because you've not submitted your life totally and completely to Yahweh Almighty. Now look, even if you have submitted your life totally and completely to Yahweh Almighty, you're not going to be exempt from trials. Abba sees to it that we get plenty of practice to exercise our faith, does he not? But with everything that's going on in the world, weaker vessels, you better take a look around. Are you going to be able to watch your children have their head cut off or their arms and limbs cut off before you? Are you going to be able to withstand torture? We probably better prepare ourselves to die. You know, we're not going to be any different from the early disciples. A lot of people forget, oh, right now they're teaching blessings and financial and material blessings. But are you teaching your children to die? Or are you teaching your children that they might get out of here and fly away on a cloud somewhere before the tribulation hits? These are things that you need to search out for yourself, ladies. Most women nowadays have a conscience that is seared with a hot iron. And it's no wonder. Look at the educational system from our government schools, teaching children that perversion is okay, teaching children filth and uncleanness, teaching children everything but true holiness. Prayer's been taken out of schools. No one can really speak up for standing for the truth. And you probably might get arrested for witnessing to someone and trying to share with somebody on Skid Row, hey, there's a better way. You might get in trouble for telling a homosexual or a lesbian, hey, this is not Yahweh's plan. Yahweh wants you to be free from this perversion. When man's laws contradict Yahweh's laws, it's time that you better get a backbone like a saw log, ladies. It's time that you get your head out of the sand, because we're looking at a last call. I'm positive that soon and very soon these kinds of programs will be taken off the air. Programs that support the word of Yahweh. Programs that support the nation of Israel. Programs that support prime ministers who stand for truth in keeping their nation's land. Think about it, ladies. Where are you? Where are you in your walk? What is it to have your conscience seared with a hot iron? Just what is it? Listen, as the ancient paths seem to disappear, to a degree anyway, for the most part, there are less women to travel the narrow paths, the paths that deny the fleshly things. This is what's happening with the weaker vessel. People, women, have a desire for their fleshly, carnal things instead of the things of Yahweh, instead of what the Almighty Yahweh desires for her. Most women of the religious system are highly distracted by the cares of this life, just things and stuff, caring for the things of Babylon, perhaps having a little conviction here and there, but omitting the adornment that Abba desires for her. 1 Timothy 4:1 says, Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, one faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Now listen to these other two translations I've copied off. And the Spirit expressly speaketh that in latter times shall certain fall away from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and teachings of demons. Teachings of demons. Here's another translation. But the Spirit says clearly that in latter times some will be turned away from the faith, giving their minds to spirits of deceit and the teachings of evil spirits. Have you ever looked up the meaning of faith? Faith means conviction of the truth. Yahweh's truth. Not what you think or what I think, but what His Word speaks from the Hebrew perspective and not a Western mindset. Faith, holy fervor born of faith and joined with Yahweh. The conviction that Yahweh exists and is the creator and ruler of all things, the provider and bestower of our eternal salvation through His Mashiach Yahweh. What's the meaning of giving heed? Giving heed to seducing spirits, to get your mind tuned in with, to give your thought train to these evil forces of hell. You know, not every thought that comes into your brain is necessarily your thought. It's like my husband teaches so many times. You know, if a bird flies over, don't let him build a nest. So if a thought comes in your mind that's negative, perverted, evil, wicked, negative, you need to cast it out. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, bringing unto captivity every thought into the obedience of Mashiach. This is a tough thing to do because we're supposed to be doing it 24/7. 24/7. We don't want to give heed to seducing spirits, and it starts in the thought train. And you entertain those thoughts of carnality, and entertain until you finally yield your members to it. And then you yield a little more, and if you don't watch it over a period of time, you get in a slum hole. And you wonder, how in the world did I get this far? Because it started with a thought. What's the meaning of a seducing spirit, a seducing? This word seducing means something that leads you into error. A vagabond, a tramp, a deceiver. The meaning of doctrines, seducing doctrines, tramp teachings, tramp instruction, whore teachings, anything that opposes the word of Yahweh. And the meaning of devils, that thing or being that is inferior to Yahweh. My. Alright. 1 Timothy 4:2 reads, speaking lies in hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. We better watch these false teachings. Maybe you've gone so far that you don't even want to hear this. Probably many have already clicked to another station or just shut it off because they didn't want to hear what was being said. Again, Proverbs states, a fool despises wisdom and instruction. The scripture even talks about, in Proverbs somewhere, I'll have to paraphrase it, but it talks about rebuke not a mocker, one who mocks, or you get a blot, but rebuke a wise man, and he'll be wiser. So I'm looking for wise women. Is there any out there? Is there any wise women that really want to learn and really want to know the truth and live it with a circumcised heart? Where are you? Where are you? We don't have much time left. A lot of people don't believe in deathbed repentance. I don't know. But I know one thing. We better be calling on the right one, number one. You better know who your God is and what his name is. Because if you're calling him by any other name than what his name really is, you've just broken the first commandment that you got plastered on your wall. It says, ye shall have no other gods before me. Who's the me? Look in the previous verse. You'll see an uppercase L-O-R-D. I got to stop. Maybe we'll finish up with this next week. Stop and make some announcements. If you want to know why your God and Mashiach is only named Yahweh, we mail out free audio CDs and scriptural literature on why your God and Mashiach is only named Yahweh. Please write to Jerry or Kathy. Our mailing address is 775 McDonald Road. That's 775 McDonald Road. Covington, Georgia. Covington, Georgia. That's the United States of America, Georgia. Our zip code is 30014. Again, 30014. Or we invite you to call us at 770-784-0703. That number again is 770-784-0703. For those of you that have access to online internet service, we invite you to go to our website. You may re-listen to all of our radio programming and watch my husband on our televised broadcasts using our King James Version and the Hebrew Scriptures to show how that the name of Yahweh has been removed from His Word. To access that website, go to www.Yahwah, you must spell Yahweh, Y-A-H-W-A-H. That's Yahweh with a little hyphen, Ministries.org. Again, Yahweh, Y-A-H-W-A-H, hyphen, Ministries.org. The purpose of my broadcast is to provoke women to study. I'm sure I provoke many to anger, but if it provokes you to anger that you would study, then so be it. So be it. Look, seriously, we better know our God, because if we come up any other way before Him and we've got on the wrong kind of garment, or we come up any other way but His way, then we're the same as a thief and a robber, and He's going to turn away, and He's going to call us a worker of iniquity. Even if we know His name is Yahweh, we better not have iniquity in our heart. Until next week at this same time, may Yahweh Almighty richly encourage you women to search what I share with you out. Shalom until next week.